Hi, babes. Welcome back to the Chase Life with Kelly show. I am your host, Kelly Chase. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. If you are brand new, this is your first episode. This is going to be a good one. All of them are good, but you know what I mean. It's going to be great. We're going to dive into a few of the responses that I received from previous episodes from 2 weeks ago. I asked you guys to send me a message on Instagram letting me know what you're currently struggling with. So I received a few of those, and one DM wasn't one that someone submitted to me, but it was just in response to something. And I feel like sharing it because I feel like it could relate with a lot of people. So first things first, we are going to dive into, it'd be like health, relationships, career, business, everything that we talk about on the podcast, of course. So if you are struggling and or would just like to hear my perspective on things, my advice, my suggestions, tips, tools, steps, action items, here we go. Let's dive right in. Okay, so first one. What I'm feeling challenged most with is my body image. I recently gained a little bit of weight, and I feel like I always have to wear loose clothing so I don't look as chubby as I am. It's heartbreaking to me because growing up as a child, I was very athletic, and then now growing up as an adult, I have just lost that. Okay, first of all, everyone listening to this podcast, everyone out there in the world, everyone is a manifestation of trials and tribulations that you have experienced. And I want to propose it that way because it's the truth. Think about all of the heavy stuff that you go through. And you might be thinking, well, I don't go through a lot of heavy stuff. Like it really isn't that heavy. I mean, I haven't really experienced too many traumatic things in my life. And I'm not suggesting that it all accumulates because of traumatic traumas, big T's. I mean, little T's, every little thing, our subconscious. Let me explain this again. So 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. We do not even know that we are thinking these thoughts. We don't even know that the subconscious mind accepts these thoughts, turns them into behaviors, and then it produces a result. But we wonder why we keep getting certain results because there's underlying, like we could obviously be very conscious and be like, okay, well, I haven't really been eating that great, or I haven't been moving my body, or if we want to get super spiritual, I haven't really been doing like somatic work or breath work or anything like to offer myself an emotional release. I'm not really connecting with God. I have no purpose. I have no passion, things like that. And that stuff all adds up, right? But you could be conscientious of it. You could be conscientious of that. However, sitting on your phone, what was last week's episode? We were talking about scrolling and the impacts of how that affects your health, your mental health, how your subconscious mind is wide open to it. So things like that, you could be scrolling the gram. You could just be out at the grocery store and you see someone who you believe has a very good physique and body image, and maybe they hold themselves with a lot of confidence and poise. And you may think to yourself, gosh, I wish I had that. Consciously. Unconsciously, you could also be thinking the same thing. Or, God, I wonder what I'd have to do to get that. I wonder, someone probably loves them so much because of it. They probably didn't have to work too hard for that body. All kinds of things, and then it spirals into the subconscious of like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, what's wrong with me? Why can't I look like that? Why does it always feel like I have to work so hard to uphold to society's standards of what we should look like? There are many incredible heart-centered, heart-space women out there of all body images, all body types, weights, heights, all of it, shapes. And they get up there and they use their voice and they do good things with the world. And bottom line, that's what people remember you as, not that you aren't athletic anymore and you may have a little bit of weight that you don't want on you. Maybe you have a lot of weight that you don't want on you, but the more that you align to who you want to become, the easier that this gets, because you will start making choices from that version of you and not the version of you that you are today, or, well, which is run by your past, basically. It is controlled by your past programming. So one thing that I can suggest, though, because I get it, like, I understand, I have gained weight, I have had that influx of, weight struggles and the emotions that come with it and all of that. And yeah, you do have to put in the work, right? Like, if I was sitting here eating fast food all the time, or, cooking very high carb, starchy carb, processed food meals every day, I would gain weight. It also would probably like make me really sick because of my gluten sensitivities and all the food sensitivities that I have. But regardless, I have those sensitivities, I do believe, because I kind of restricted a lot of food back in the day, and I compromised my gut because I was binge drinking when I wasn't eating enough food. There's a lot, and there's just a lot of stress on my body. So with all that being said, I would suggest, and I know that maybe you have heard this from me before, because the girl that submitted this, I have spoken with before. But this is for everybody. And a helpful reminder for you is, go give yourself some grace. Okay. We all go through stuff like this. Give yourself some grace. And the next thing I would do, and maybe I can link it to the show notes. Otherwise, feel free to DM me about it on Instagram, but you could probably get this on Amazon, honestly. So I went through this program from BeachBody. It's called 21 Day Fix. And then I did a handful of other programs of theirs. But the one thing that remained constant for the most part with every single exercise program on BeachBody was their nutrition guides. 80-day obsession was a little bit different as far as it was like timed nutrition, which I do think is very, very valuable. I think the biggest thing is like eating maybe before you work out, like an hour before you work out, versus fasted working out, fasted exercise, fasted cardio. So maybe eat a little bit before, because it actually helps put something in your body, so you're not like, it will help like kickstart your metabolism because you have food fueling your workouts, right? Okay, so anyways, but regardless, following these nutrition guides that you can probably get online and getting those portion like containers. I swear, I still use these to this day. And I went through that program 9 years ago. And I don't use it every day, but I am very conscientious. It teaches you basically what a portion looks like and how many portions throughout the day. So if you are there to lose a little bit of weight, maybe for 3 months, I would say go into a calorie deficit, but use a guide and or a nutritionist or a dietitian, hire someone, invest in these guides and you do the proper calculations. Because if you're not eating enough food, you're going to remain stuck, or you're going to keep gaining weight because your body is just packing on the pounds because it's in starvation mode, and it has to convert something in order to operate your body. So my biggest thing is eating enough food. Food is fuel. Food is fuel. Remember that motto, food is fuel. So I highly suggest, and again, we can link these, but they're the portion fix containers. And I'm pretty sure you can get them on Amazon too, but it's like for protein, for starchy carbs, for fruit, for vegetables. There's ones for healthy fats, nuts and seeds. And they're all different sizes. One's like a cup, or a couple of them are a cup. Some of them are like tablespoon worth. Some of them are like 2/3 of a cup. So it's highly beneficial. Do the calculations on it. And if you are just trying to here's the scoop. I was going to say eat in your, the bracket that suggests that you're not trying to lose weight and you're not trying to gain muscle, or not trying to gain muscle and or weight. And you're just metabolic rate. Again, I'm screwing up on the scientific words here, but you get what I mean. You're just trying to sustain where you're at. I promise you, well, first of all, you're probably well, I don't want to sustain. I don't want to stay where I'm at because I'm trying to lose weight. I get it. But when you do the calculations, you may see that you have to eat a lot of food considering where you're currently at. And you may be like, fuck that. I'm not doing, like, that's crazy. I can't eat that much food. I haven't eaten that much food in 10 years. I don't know if I've ever eaten that much food. Please follow it. Unless you have other issues, like other things going, not issues, but unless you have other things like dietary or gut related issues going on, again, maybe go see a doctor, dietitian, nutritionist, work with these specialists that can help facilitate things. I worked with someone one time and she actually was constipated. And that's why she could not eat that much food, because she was like literally full of food. And she had not gone to the bathroom in like 2 weeks. And that didn't even dawn on me because I'm like, it just didn't even dawn on me. Then she went and worked with a nutritionist and it was like, that was it. That was what was going on. And so anyways, if you're constipated, yeah, maybe not. But highly, highly, highly suggest that you give that a try. Use the portion fixed containers. Eat. Oh, that's what I was going to say. When you like do it for like your, to maintain your maintenance weight, you're going to see that it's going to suggest like maybe like 6 things of protein and 6 things of vegetables and 4 portions of fruit. And again, you may be like, that sounds a lot. That even sounds like a lot, like coming out of Kelly's mouth right now on this podcast. Like, I get it. But I swear, if you start eating that, you might actually start to see a shift in your weight because you're actually going to be fueling your body with more food than ever before. You have to fuel your body with food in the appropriate amount to kickstart your metabolism. Now, or you do the calculations and you do the caloric deficit. And with that caloric deficit, then obviously you're still probably going to be eating more food than you are right now. Or you're going to be eating more in balance of like proteins, fats, and carbs. I promise this stuff works. It just does. Even if your exercise was like walking for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, start cleaning up your diet, eating healthier, and I promise things will start moving for you. But anyways, all that to say, you're loved, you're worthy, and someone's going to love you no matter what size you are. But you got to first love yourself. So if you don't love yourself as you are right now, that's where all the inner work starts to come in. And when you start doing the inner work and letting go of things no longer serving you, you start to align with that higher version of yourself and you just start taking steps towards her. So maybe you start working out. Maybe you're like, exercise really isn't for me, but team sport would be. Like, I would love to do a team sport. Then do it. But the 2 main things of being healthier is 1, cleaning up your nutrition, your eating habits, and 2, your mindset. So if you are super stressed, that could affect things because your cortisol could still be really high, even if you're working out and even if you are eating really well. But I promise you, probably if your cortisol is really high, you're probably not doing one or the other on a consistent basis because you're going to be really burnt out and you're going to be too tired. And you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to have to cook anything, or I don't want to have to prepare any food, or, oh, I just don't want to do it. I'm too tired for that. So just be conscientious of all of that. I hope that was a little bit helpful for you. Again, I could go deeper into this, but I hope that helped. Okay, the next one is... Okay, I love this. I'm just responding to your recent podcast about what I'm struggling with. I've realized I do want to do a podcast. I want to add it to my Reiki business that I have yet to start. I also have an 11-month-old little girl. Life is tricky and my husband has his own business and is super busy with it. And I've been a stay-at-home mom. Just trying to find the balance, but yet share my gifts. I would love to write a book, but have no clue how to start that. Thanks again for creating your podcast. I listen quite often. Thanks. I love that. Okay, first things first. I love that she was just so honest and was like, I want to do a podcast, add it to a Reiki business that has yet to even kick off. But the image is there, the vision is there, the thought is there, the idea is there, the imagination is there. Do you know what that means? It already exists. Something about your business, your purpose, your passion, it already exists because it's inside of you and it is waiting to come out. And there are people out there that need you. There are people out there that need to hear you. Just like you said at the end of that, thanks again for creating your podcast. I listen quite often. Do you know how many people could reach out to you, even if it's just one person, and says, thank you for creating your podcast. I listen quite often. Do you know, even just one person, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. You create your Reiki business, however you want to do that. You have one client. They have a positive review. They tell a friend. It takes one person to create inspiration, action, motivation, growth, and empowers you to keep going and empowers you to do things differently too when you don't feel aligned anymore to that. So I would say this. So you want to do Reiki. You want to start a Reiki business. You have to ask yourself, what does, well, let's say you want to do a book, you want to start a podcast, and you want to have a Reiki business, and you got to be a mom. So what, like, don't think about now. Don't think about it from right now. Think about like 4 years from now. How would you want to be? How would you want your life to be? It's about reverse engineering that, because you know how I always say, you got to like become the person and then do. So you be, do, have. You become, then you do, then you have the things, versus a lot of people think, well, when I have the thing, then I'll do the thing and then I'll become the thing. It's not have, do, be. It's be, do, have. You become, you do, you have. So you want to become the person now, trick your subconscious mind into being like, yep, I already have the business. I already have the podcast. I already have the book. And you reverse engineer what steps it takes to get there. Maybe you're thinking right now that there may be a little bit more of a limited mindset and some lack, scarcity, like, oh my God, I would love to have all of that because I don't have it right now. Or, you know, however else I'm thinking this, like, well, I want to show up more in person. I want to be available to people. I want to, you know, be able to work with anybody and everybody, which is wonderful. But you can't work with anybody and everybody, because what happens, and you'll learn from me with this, but you don't go to a foot doctor for heart surgery. Okay. So you got to speak to your ideal client. And with that, you start to attract the type of people that you want to work with. You start to attract solo line clients, and those people grow with you into who you are becoming. You lead yourself so that you can lead others into doing things like that too. Hopefully I have inspired you to do that. With that said, so think about it. Having a family, do you want an in-person Reiki business? Do you like having the tools of Reiki for your own personal self, but do you really want to teach others about Reiki? Or, excuse me, do you want to treat, like heal, like you actually perform Reiki on other people, like patients, clients? Or do you want to become like a master Reiki teacher and you teach other people how to do Reiki and people pay you for those services? Like, how do you want to do your Reiki business? How do you want to do that? You want to start your podcast? Just start. Buy a mic. My microphone, this is actually a different one, upgraded just a little bit. But I had a podcast, or here, I'm going to show you guys this one. It's blue. It's the blue brand. This one is also the blue brand that I'm using right now, but this was like the, whatever it's called, the ice snowball little guy. I bought that in 2019, I think, like beginning of 2019. I sat on it in 2021 is when we launched the podcast. So for 2 years, or almost 2 years, I sat on the podcast. But I knew after working with other high-minded mentors of mine, and being around like-minded people who were also all starting podcasts. And one of my first mentors, she had a podcast. That's how I started really like creating digital courses, like my whole Goddess Magic course. Like, and then prior to, I had created like a whole nutrition course. Anyways, so the podcast, it came from that. So I hope that I can inspire you to just buy the mic. Go online, go to Amazon. I think the white one costs like $30 on Amazon. Sometimes we think, again, we get in that lack mindset of like, oh, it's going to cost so much money because of this and this and this. And I will say this, I have never, ever edited my podcast, ever. Lovely MJ is the man. He and his team of people have edited my podcast. They create the marketing. Actually, MJ, I think, does all the things. And then there's one other woman who does my show notes. Because I said, when I was working with a business coach back in 2021, the beginning of 2021, or actually the end of 2020, she was like, what do you want to do for your podcast? And I was like, show up. And she said, okay, then you need to outsource everything you don't want to do. Yes. Does it cost money? Yes. But I also outsourced to the Philippines. And MJ has been so amazing. MJ, I love you. Thank you so much for all your help. He's been great. He creates even my marketing promotion, like my marketing material, the clips of me doing the podcast that you see on YouTube or that I share on my Instagram. He is the one creating those clips. Now there's other marketing stuff that I create personally myself. But he pulls clips from these videos and creates marketing videos. So you got to figure out what exactly you want to do. How do you want to do this? How do you want to show up? What exactly is it that you want to do? Maybe, for me, I would love to take my podcast and do like actual shows, in-person live shows. I see like Girls Gotta Eat and what is there, Alex Cooper. Like, I want to do that. I love being in person. I want to like have a microphone in my hand, have like a dance party, like do all the things and just meet all of you. Like, that would be so freaking cool, right? But, it's taken me 3 years to get there. And well, I'm not there yet, but that is my idea. That's my vision for the podcast. And anyways, so you have to think about what you want to do. What is it? What do you really want? And be honest with yourself. Don't let fear and limitations stop you from actually getting what you want. Like, you may say, you know what, actually, I do want to create impact and I want to have more money because I want to provide my child and my family with the best. But ultimately, I also want to just be like floating on a yacht off the coast of Greece in 10 years from now. Okay, so how are you going to get there? Reverse engineer. What are you going to do? So I hope that was helpful. As far as writing your book, again, just start. I started writing my book 2 years ago. Still haven't finished it. We know this. But at least I wrote something. Okay, something has been written. It's in Google Docs and it will get written one day, but there's a lot of fear and a lot of limitation around that. That's why it's not done yet. Actually, it's not really fear. It's like limitation and people pleasing. It is extreme people pleasing as to why my book is not done yet, because I feel like I have to give all the details. And that is why it's taking me forever to write it, when I just need to like have one book, like start with one book, one like main topic, and then maybe expand and give backstories or not even worry about. Like, I honestly didn't even know if I wanted to write a book. But a friend of mine, she is a publisher and an incredible like life coach and identity coach. And she was like, oh, you got to do this. Like, it's going to change your life. And I do agree. I think writing a book changes your life. It gives you some type of authority. Anyways, I just haven't done it. So I encourage you to do it. I definitely encourage you to do it though, but just start. So get the podcast mic, get the book started, just pull out a Word doc or Google Docs and just start. Sit down, maybe, take like an hour of your day or 20 minutes. I know you're probably busy with the baby, but stay at home mom, get some help for a day or like an hour and just sit there and just type it out. Light some candles, set the mood, turn off all distractions and just type. And I know I'm preaching to myself right now too, but I highly suggest that. And with your business, again, it's just reverse engineering what you really wanted to be doing. I'm very biased about the coaching industry. I have seen, because I've been doing this since 2018. I mean, I've been in the coaching industry since 2013, 14. But as far as like actually working with coaches and business mentors and all of that, like I have seen women go from, fitness coaching, nutrition coaching, whatever other else, having a store, like an actual brick and mortar. And now they were like, I was landlocked. Like for those that were like brick and mortar, they were like, I was landlocked. Like I couldn't leave my store, or I was constantly like going there to manage them. I was on my consumer's schedule, not my schedule. And I chose to be an entrepreneur so that I could create a life of freedom. And that wasn't freedom for me. Did I create a lot of impact? Did I create a lot of income? Sure. But I wasn't happy at the end. So what did they do? They grew a business, they created impact, they created income, and they turned that business into business coaching or business consulting and became business strategists. And now they can coach and consult from wherever. They have the location freedom, they have the time freedom, they set their business up in the way that works best for them, their family, and the life that they're living and or want to live. So it's just, you got to get really clear on what you want to do. And if you're like, no, you know what? I wanted to have like a studio, do Reiki, like in-person Reiki sessions. Maybe maybe you kind of want to take a break from being around your baby all day. I don't know. Or maybe you see like in 3 years that happening. Maybe you start creating like a digital course now on things that you know outside of Reiki. And you start coaching people or consulting people in that regard first. And then let that lead into in person if later on down the road you want to go in person and do stuff. So I hope that was helpful for you. Definitely check out the Goddess Magic course. That will help you with your passion and purpose, transforming your relationship to success and money. I mean, seriously, the Goddess Magic course, it is stuff that I learned from my first mentor from 2018-19, who changed my world. So, and then obviously I have added so much to that after working with relationship coaches and mindset coach, like only like mindset. I promise everything is going to change your world. So I'm so excited for you. Okay. Kind of similar. I was a teacher, but left education because of the state of things. It broke my heart to leave the kids, but had to make a change for myself. I still am in education, but in the ed tech world now. Okay. So how I responded to this woman, it was like, I believe everything happens as it's meant to and delivers to you exactly what you're wanting or something even greater. Happy to hear you're still in education. So in situations like that, like let's say something, like she said, she was in education. She wants to teach. I'm like a teacher at heart. I used to play school when I was like from 5 to 15, like I loved playing school. That's probably why I have this podcast. That's probably why I was a coach. Like there's something about when you are so freaking confident about the things that you're talking about, you could literally teach anybody. You can teach anybody. So although she's still in education, she may not be doing what she originally thought she was meant to do. She's still doing education and she's still teaching. Hopefully she really loves it. If she doesn't, and I hope that this, just resonates with someone out there. If you don't love what you're doing, maybe there are parts of what you love. Maybe there are parts of the things that you're doing that you love and you can take it and again, create online courses, create a coaching, create consulting business, do something. And I'm just here to unlock your potential, right? Like I want to unlock the greatest version of you. So if you're sitting there playing small and playing in victim mode at a 9-to-5 job or part-time job, or you're busting your ass waiting tables and you're just like, oh, I just don't know what to do. Like, yes, does business take a minute to like kick off? Sure. And that can be a limiting belief in the sense of like, well, it's going to take me forever. It'll take me 5 years before I even start making real money. Someone told you that. I have seen women, yes, it may take a few years, but if you know the type of person, like the problem, and you have a solution, if you know exactly what the problem is and you have a solution to the problem and you get out there and you tell people, this is what I do, this is how I help, this is your transformation, basically, this is the end product, like lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Granted, I don't think that that's really safe, but things like that, you like shine the object on them, the shiny object, and you have a problem, you can solve it because you've gone through it. You know what to do. You know what to say. You know the tools, the strategies, the steps that are needed to be taken in order for your client to overcome the same type of challenge. And you save them time because they may not ever hear this information or they have to go at it alone like you did for 5 years. Well, now you don't have to. You have the whole blueprint right there for them. And you talk to your ideal client and you freaking fly. There's people that make like, this isn't, it sounds insane, but I literally know people that make $1 million a month. $1 million a month. And you probably your eyes just got wide. You probably just shook your head like that's not real. Your job may have just dropped. You may have actually just felt something in your gut. Like, that's not real. That's fake. No way. Or that's going to be so fucking hard to do. Or who needs that much money? You're right. Who does need that much money? But I know this person is probably doing a lot of good things with that money. She's pouring back into her business. She's constantly hiring mentorship. She, creating so much impact out there. So good people do good things with money. And you don't have to make $1 million a month. Maybe your goal is to just make 6 figures. That's beautiful. And that is very easy to do. Very easy to do. So, okay. One last thing. Accountability is harder than normal because it's uncomfortable to me. Then I stop caring about myself and stop investing in me. I got to learn that uncomfortable helps you grow. If it's healthy uncomfortableness, absolutely. Okay, so I just wanted to read that little snippet of this woman's DM to me because I get it. Accountability is hard. Like it takes discipline. Reminding yourself every single day what your passion and purpose is. And if you don't know that passion and purpose, that's why it's really, really great to start personal development, because then you start to understand what you like and what you don't like. And you take yourself on dates and you discover what you like and what you don't like. And you just start dating yourself and you discover what you like and you don't like. And you figure out, hey, I went through X, Y, and Z. Maybe I can offer, like I said, you offer tips to people. Maybe you're not even like interested in taking your pain and turning it into a purpose, but you are just motivated and empowered to, maybe you start a blog, or you want to become like an influencer and you're just telling people your story online without expecting anything of it, maybe it's something like that. But the accountability comes from you just being disciplined and choosing your higher self. And it is difficult. There are days I do not choose my higher self. Okay. If I did, I would probably be in a much different place than I am right now. I get that. So really, it starts with you. Everything starts with you. So you have to choose you. Figure out, like, start the personal development, read the books, maybe hire a mentor or dive into like these coaches have like free master classes or like $22 master classes all the time. You have to find someone that works best for you. In my Goddess Magic program, it's 20, I counted it the other day, it's 24 or 25 modules right now. I just wanted to like get all this information out to the world. But it's 25 modules. It's completely go at your own pace, do it yourself. You can, send me Instagram messages and or email, then I will respond if there's a question. But you go at it at your own pace, because those who lead themselves lead others. I'm not here to hold your hand because you don't need it. The power is in you. And that's the thing. Like many of us, our power has been taken away because we've allowed it to be taken away. But the power is still inside of you. You already have everything that you need. The Goddess Magic program is to remind you of the magic that you hold inside of you. Still remind you to tap into that magic, that goddess energy every day, to exude this confident, yet angelic and graceful you. She exists because she's right there. You're listening right now. I had to be reminded too. I was constantly chasing boy after boy, constantly on this like hamster wheel of, cycle going nowhere. I was like, oh my God, I've literally been doing this same exact thing for 4 years. 4 years. I've been doing the same thing. Or actually, I guess it was like 3.5. 3.5 years, I was doing the same thing. That's a long time. 365 days times 3.5. That's a long time. It's a lot of days that I was pretty much in the same cycle. And that was when I was experiencing all of my weight struggles, and I got cortisol struggles and, hormone struggles and all this stuff. But I was seeking external love and validation. And I'm here to tell you that ain't it. The love is within you. The confidence is within you. The powerful self is within you. The girl who knows who the heck she is and shows up with confidence, walks into a room and people's heads turn like, who is that, before she even says anything. That's who you are. But everything from as soon as you were born up until now has told you otherwise. Well, Goddess Magic is here to remind you of who the fuck you are. Excuse my French. Because you're fucking amazing. You are so amazing. And like, it unlocks all of these little codes inside of you that you're like, oh my God, I did go through that. Or that's why I do this. And that's why I do that. And oh, wow. And yeah, you might discover that there are some big and little T traumas that maybe you dissociated from. There's a lot. That's why therapy is really great to help, accompany some of this coaching stuff, because when you start doing shadow work and inner child healing, that shit sucks. Okay. It is like facing the depths of your soul and you're like, oh God, this is painful. And it may trigger you to cry and feel the fucking pain that you haven't felt ever, maybe. Or it was so bad then that you don't want to relive that. And I'm not saying in Goddess Magic we don't go that deep, because I'm not there to facilitate it. It's like that's more of like if you have like some one-on-one like therapy or like a one-on-one coach, they are like a trauma-informed coach. They're going to take you deep like that. But I'm suggesting that the Goddess Magic course is going to be like your first step. It's going to tap into all these limiting beliefs, these stories, and these fears that are keeping you stuck and holding you back from the life that you crave. Literally, you are the author of your life. You design your life. You create your life. What did I say from the very, very beginning of this episode? I said, it's a thought. It's already an imagination. It's already an idea. That means it already exists. That's right. Your life, the one that you dream of, the one that you think that you will never have, it exists for you. You just have to say yes, and you have to claim it on the inside. So you can start today. So I'll tell you a little bit about just the pricing for Goddess Magic. So Goddess Magic, like I said, it's a DIY. You could go through it at your own pace. There are journal prompts. There are some links to like meditations and visualizations, a little bit of breath work, a lot of just truly understanding what the subconscious mind is, how it works, how you operate because of your subconscious mind. And then it takes you into transforming your limiting beliefs, creating new ones around success, love, and money. And it's fabulous. Not because I created it, but because like this is stuff that I learned from all the incredible mentors that I have mentored with since 2018. And it freaking changed my life. I have so much awareness around this stuff. And when I realize, I will say this, like when I'm not walking the walk, or when the results that I'm looking for are not in my hands just yet, I'm aware as to why, because I know subconsciously what is going on, and I take full responsibility. It's you leading yourself. So I'm giving you the Goddess Magic. It's $333 if you pay in full. It's 3 payments of $111 if you do a payment plan. So that's it. $111 3 times. You'll be done paying for it in 3 months, or it's a one-time fee of $333. No refunds, because I believe that the work that is in there and the work that I do is very, very magical. And it will change you, because this is long lasting. Like once you hear this information, you won't go back. And if you do, you'll have the awareness so that you're faster to change. You're faster to learn the lessons, have the awareness, learn the lesson, and you make decisions quicker to get you to where you want to go. All right, ladies, I love you guys so much. Just remember who the F you are, because you're so fabulous. You are magical goddesses. And happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you are all safe. And I understand that, family dynamics can be weird over the holidays. Just try to stay as neutral as possible. Try not to get triggered, and be grateful, because that's what Thanksgiving is not all about, but like being grateful, right? It's a lot of what Thanksgiving is, giving thanks. So even when you get triggered, be like, thank you for triggering me, so that I can learn the lesson, so that I can heal a little bit, so that I can work on myself a little bit, so that I can step into a more aligned version of myself, a higher version of myself, and unlock my greatest potential. All right, loves, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Oh, and everything for Goddess Magic is linked, so check it out.